Let's talk about system prompts. Every time you enter a prompt on a chat AI, the system adds some instructions to the start of it before passing all that text to the neural network. The instructions that it adds are called the system prompt. The three blue, one brown video, Transformers, the tech behind LMs, mentioned it briefly at the 610 time point. Before we look at what's in a particular system prompt, we should think just because someone, whether it's the AI company or the user, is telling the AI what to do in words, we can't 100% rely on it to do that. It can still make mistakes. And that's even if the user isn't trying something malicious. So if the system prompt says gravity makes things fall down, there's still a non-zero chance that the LLM will select the word up instead as the last word of the sentence. There are apparently mechanisms behind the scenes of a chatbot to tell the LLM to pay more attention to the system prompt than to the user prompt. So any conflicts would likely be resolved in favor of the system prompt. But again, that's not 100% guaranteed. Now, you and I, as STEM professionals, can't do anything about system prompts right now in most of our work, other than be aware of them. But perhaps sometime in the future, you will be setting up an LLM to get some STEM thing done, and then it will be up to you to set up the system prompt. But keep in mind that the LLM can still make mistakes when trying to follow the instruction in the system prompt. So let's take a look at an example system prompt. This is from the Claude system by the company called Anthropic. I found it in May 2025. Here's the link for it. The whole system prompt is 600 lines of text, which we won't read exhaustively, but we can notice like it contains info like the current date, time, and user's location. So it's customized for each person using it. It also contains information from after the cutoff date of the training, so the company doesn't have to retrain the model when something important happens. They can just mention it in the system prompt. As a STEM person, you might set up a system prompt to include recent discoveries or new regulations in your field. So here are some excerpts from the system prompt. It's saying any citations should use the minimum number of sentences necessary to support the claim. It says always respect copyright by never reproducing more than a certain amount of text to ensure legal compliance and avoid harming copyright holders. That's kind of funny because there are also lawsuits about how AI companies massively violated copyright just to get the training data. So you can go look up those lawsuits for yourselves. It has some response guidelines that don't seem all that controversial, but prioritizing recent info, that's a decision. Talking about what makes for a high quality source, be politically neutral, again, never reproduce copyrighted content. Here's where it is saying like the chatbot software would somehow have an idea of where your computer is and fill in that location. Then it's got a big section about harmful content. Don't promote hate speech, racism, violence or discrimination, etc. A list of what harmful content includes. I've actually removed, I personally have removed some of the things that it said because we don't want to be thinking about that right now. And then here's where it knows the current date and time, so it puts that in. Generic information about the company's products, what the cutoff date is, again, the current date and time. This is interesting. It says, always respond as if the system is face blind. It can never identify or name any human in any image, or even say that it recognizes a human. So we'll talk more about that later. And then it has a section on election information. So this is stuff that maybe happened after the training date, but it can include stuff that might be useful. So why do you think the AI will always refuse to identify people in images? Because the system prompt told it to. Why do you think the system prompt says to refuse to identify people in images? We'll talk about all that later. And then I've got some related links here.